Good morning, everyone. This is Commissioner Olson. Today is Tuesday, May 7, 2024, and we'll call this meeting to order at 8 a.m. As a reminder, our call-in number is 1-971-254-3149, conference ID 866-914-607#. Before we get started, I'd like to remind everyone to mute your phone. You can do this by pressing *6. Please unmute yourself when called to speak, again pressing *6. It's very important for all others to remain muted. Thank you. So we'll welcome everyone and have our Board of Commissioners roll call. Commissioner Scar.
Good morning.
Good morning. And Commissioner Bell will not be with us this morning, which is why I'm chairing this meeting. I believe she's meeting with the Corps of Engineers and others at Barview and possibly having something to do with the Barview Jetty. So we will excuse her from this meeting. So we'll start with Adventist Health as we usually do. Eric, are you online this morning?
I am. Good morning, Commissioner.
Morning.
We have 11 patients in the hospital today, plus one brand new baby. 11 surgery cases scheduled. Ambulance crews did 5 911 transports yesterday, no transfers, no transports home. Across Oregon, we have 121 patients boarding in emergency departments. That's 35 more than yesterday, and there's 351 patients who should be discharged, but there's no place to go. That's 7 more than yesterday. I want to share with you a little bit of news. We've been kind of keeping a secret here since December, but in December we made a decision to make a donation to the North County Recreation District. They have, for those of you who don't know, they're doing a new pool and a medical therapy pool. And when we were presented with an opportunity to be part of that by making a donation, we put our heads together and decided that it was a good time to invest in our friends and family in North Tillamook County. And so on Friday night at their gala, we announced that we've made that back in December, we made a $500,000 donation to the therapy pool. So in North Tillamook County, we'll have a Adventist Health therapy pool named, and we did not use any, we don't receive tax dollars anyway, but no tax dollars went to this, nor any of you who've been donated to us, no donated funds went to it. It all came from operations. And hospitals in Oregon are required to give back so much in what's called community benefit in lieu of paying taxes, and this goes to our community benefit dollars for 2023. And sitting at the gala, which was a great event, very nice at the NCRD, Dr. Susan Leo was there, who's one of our physicians in Manzanita, and she said that having a therapy pool in North Tillamook County would be amazing for patients who require that type of therapy. And our mission of inspiring health, wholeness, and hope aligns well with what the NCRD is trying to do with adding a therapy pool to their offerings. And it's not the first time we've donated to a therapy pool. 20 years ago when the YMCA put in their therapy pool, we made contributions to that as well. So very exciting. We've kept a secret for a long time, and now it's out. So with that, unless you've got questions for me, I'll go back on mute.
Well, Eric, thank you so much. My goodness, you did say $500,000. Did I hear you correctly?
Yes, that is correct.
Well, that's most generous. I'm quite sure people will appreciate that, not only today, but in the future. How many people actually take advantage of something like that over, say, a year? Do you have any idea?
No, I don't have any idea. I just know that I've talked to some of our associates here in Tillamook who, for their personal medical problems, go to the therapy pool on a regular basis, some with a physical therapist and just some doing the exercises on their own in the water.
Mm-hmm. Well, since we have an above average older population, I'm quite sure it'll be used frequently. So, well, just on behalf of the county, thank you so much. That's a big deal for Tillamook County. I think no one would disagree with that.
We're happy to
again,
do it.
Thanks, Eric.
And you betcha.
Okay, let's go on to Coastal Caucus. I did hear Senator Weber this morning.
Good morning. Can you hear me?
I can hear you just fine. Go right ahead.
Do you think the rain is going to stop today, or do you think we have to wait until the weekend for that glorious weather?
Who knows?
I'm not sure. I haven't kept track of how much rain we got this week, but I know that I have been traveling throughout the district, and we're not alone. It's been raining everywhere I've gone. Last week I went to the Gaston School District and toured them and their wonderful facilities, and got to see people that had been in Tillamook, and just being around the kids in the school systems just adds life. There's so much joy and color, and I really had a wonderful time visiting the Gaston School District. Then too, I also was up on Highway 30. There is a place called Bradwood Landing, and it's a development site. And the North Coast Regional Solutions team got together to discuss all of the options there. And while you were at the gala for the Northwest, Recreation District, North Coast Recreation District, which I did drive around yesterday to see how that is looking. And if you haven't driven up around there and seen what's going on, you need to do that. And you also need to look at their wonderful pickleball courts too. But anyway, I was in Astoria for the FFA banquet. I had committed to speaking there, and also one of our Tillamook students, Mr. Mazzei, was there, and he also addressed the group, and he did a marvelous job of speaking. Today is another group that here in Tillamook County has made great strides in working together and just being able to share the wealth of this area with the rest of the state, and that's the Tillamook Working Lands and Waters, and that's going to be meeting this morning. They are planning a tour to invite legislators, especially in, to see what it is we do here that makes us special, and we already know we're special. But anyway, we need to relay that that information to the rest of the state so we can increase the understanding of the special challenges that we have, especially around infrastructure and development. And when I'm speaking of that, I'm also going to say that tomorrow at Chinook Winds is the Coastal Caucus Economic Summit. This is an event that used to go on before COVID, and it was a great place to go and network and learn more about what was happening all up and down the coast. And so we have brought it back for one day, and you can go online and you can register. It is a free event, and there are several sessions that you would find very interesting. I know the invitations have gone out, and I have also sent out invitations. And so it's going to be a great opportunity to reconnect with our economic development. And we have also a session on resiliency and what we need to do to continue to grow in that area. So that's tomorrow, and I'm really looking forward to it. It starts, doors open at 7 o'clock in the morning, and it begins at 8 o'clock, and it will be fantastic, I know. Yesterday, I was at a groundbreaking in Rainier for their new museum. They've been working on creating a museum in Rainier for several years. They have been allowed one room in City Hall as their museum. And so now they're going to be able to, with a donation of land and a donation of services from a lot of folks in the area, they're going to begin to have their own museum facility. And Senator Johnson was there. She's been working with them also for several years, and it's going to be something that is really going to enhance the area. And so if you're up on Highway 30, just look over to your left if you're going east to see how the museum is coming along. And while I was there, a gentleman came up to me and asked if I knew how the gentleman who was working on the memorial was doing, and if the memorial for Tillamook was continuing to go forward. And I had to tell him that unfortunately, Doug Henson had passed away, and he was the prime mover in creating the Veterans Memorial, but that it will come to completion because of all of the work that Doug did before his passing. And it will be, it'll really be a wonderful, welcoming addition to our community. So it was interesting that someone in Rainier was paying attention to our Veterans Memorial. I'll be taking a water resources tour of the Rock Creek area next week. And speaking of water, we had Representative Javity, myself, and Commissioner Scar had a wonderful conversation about oysters and eelgrass last week. I think that was another one of our 2-hour meetings to talk about subjects that are really impacting our area. And I also got to go to the Hebo Christian Center for a women's gathering this weekend, and it was very uplifting and very beautiful, and I want to thank them for inviting me to participate. I also have a comment on our ballots. I want to thank our clerk's office and the staff there at the, excuse me, I think I've got something blooming in my backyard, at the courthouse for the wonderful information sheet that they put out with our ballots explaining everything. It was very clear, very well done. Thank you for that. And I want to once again encourage people, you have time to vote, vote, vote. Get your ballots turned in. You know, you don't have to pay any postage, and there are several places you can put your ballots and just get them filed. Voting is one thing where you have a voice, and you may be only one voice, but together with many others, you can make a difference. And so I want to encourage you to take and make sure that you get your ballot in. And don't let anyone else touch it or do it. Do it yourself. That's been a big issue, and I don't know how that all works with you giving your ballot to someone else, because I would never let my ballot out of my hand. But anyway, just to remember that you need to vote. And the 21st is coming up here soon. And there are not only candidates on that ballot, but there is an issue on there. And you need to be able to discern what you want to do and make sure you vote. So that is what I'm going to conclude with today, other than saying thank you very much for the opportunity.
Well, thank you very much.
Go ahead.
Yes, are there questions for our good senator? I don't hear any. I'll have a couple of comments here. The Veterans Memorial, I've heard from others, and I think it has taken on a life of its own, and it will happen. There are a number of people behind it. I think there are also some sources of funding to come. So I think it's just a matter of time, and that will be up and be a beautiful addition to the Oregon coast. So I'm quite sure that's going to go forward, even with the loss of our good friend here in Tillamook County. With respect to the Economic Summit, I think I mentioned before, I've been to nearly all of those up and down the Oregon coast. They all happen to be in casinos, which was a good thing if you like casinos. Senator Roeblen, former Senator Roeblen, I think was the power behind that who first put it together. Unfortunately, probably not too many of us here, at least on the commission, will be able to attend because that's our weekly meeting. It's also followed by our budget hearing. So choosing between a casino and a budget, that's a tough choice, but I'm pretty sure we'll all have to stay here in the courthouse for that one. And then finally, I wanted to ask on Bradwood Landing. I was talking with the director of Colpac, a regional economic development agency, and he mentioned that as well. And my understanding is that the Bradwood Landing has been owned by an individual for quite a number of years, and it's also a deep water port, so which means that the larger ships could eventually dock there with the right kind of equipment to load and unload it. Is that your understanding, Senator? It's a deep water port?
Yes, it is a deep water port.
Wow.
There are a lot of opportunities for development there, but once again, there are a lot of agencies that will also weigh in on that. So there's
Yeah.
a lot of, when I say that the North Coast Regional Solutions team was there, that means people from all of the agencies that would have an impact on permits or how we would go forward. It's an area where they put a lot of dredging spoils and silts, and there is like a pond because it was a very vibrant logging area in the past. So hopefully something can come out of it that will add to the economic vitality of the area.
Well, my understanding, it certainly sounded like a good addition to that part of Oregon. So thank you, Senator, for that. Any last minute comment?
No, I think I've done it all.
Okay, well, thanks
I
again,
could go
Senator.
on and on, you know.
Well, we'll welcome that if you do. Well, let's switch over to Representative Javity. Are you on today?
I'm here.
Okay, go ahead, please.
All right. Let's see. Get through my list here. Just to follow up on what Senator Weber mentioned about ballots. Everybody hopefully has received their ballot. If you haven't, it's not too late to go to the courthouse and the clerk's office and request a ballot. Make sure you go online to My Vote. Google My Vote Oregon will take you to the right site. You can change and make sure your address and information is correct. Also, another question I've been getting about ballots from people is why aren't you on my ballot, or why isn't so-and-so on my ballot? And just a reminder, in Oregon, we have a primary system where the parties get to pick their candidates. And so if you're registered as a Republican, you won't see Democratic candidates and vice versa. If you're not registered as a Republican or a Democrat, you'll only see races and candidates for positions where it's a nonpartisan position. So that'd be like your judges, your county commissioners. You'll still see issues if they apply to your district, like the tax increase that's on the ballot for this go around. So any questions, your clerk is your best option, but the county clerks. But if you happen to be in the dental office getting a fill-in that day, I'm happy to try to answer your questions too. Next issue, and the deadline for that's May 21st. I think Senator whoever mentioned that, but if not, you got about 15 days to go. All right, we've had just want to put a little pin or close up an issue that I talked about before. The Gearhart was at risk of losing their post office, but that has now been resolved. Gearhart's post office is going to remain open. For most of the district, that's not super important, but if you are listening to this and you're in Gearhart, you were worried that as of May 1st, you would have to travel to Seaside and go through the morass of trying to figure out how to get your mail. That is no longer the issue. So, good work. I'd like to say thank you to the USPS, United States Postal Service, as well as the leaders up in Gearhart, Commissioner or Councilor Gould, as well as the city manager up there, who worked hard, pretty much nonstop, with my office as well as others like Senator Merkley and Representative Bonamici's offices to make sure that we still had access there. So that's resolved, and happy to have been to see that successful outcome. I have also been up to the pool and at the NCRD, or at least what will be their pool. It's an awesome project. So glad to hear that Eric's announcement about donating that money. I know they've been working hard. This is a project where their community has raised, I think, 99% of those funds through their efforts, and looking forward to seeing that come to completion. And it's great to see members of the community like the hospital and through Eric's leadership really recognize the need for that. So thank you, Eric, and hoping to see that finished up. I think they said phase 1 might be done by the end of the year. I don't know if they have all the money for the other phases, but if so, we might see that whole project completed here soon, which will be a great benefit to that community. They said when I was up there at a meeting that they have not, since they've had that pool and they've been doing swim lessons for the kids who go to school there in Nehalem, they have not had a single local who's taken swim lessons and gone through the school system up there drown as a result of having access to that pool. And, on the coast, we do see a lot of unfortunate drownings from out-of-towners who come and recreate at the ocean. And it's good to hear that our locals, have that kind of ocean awareness and also the training and skills to avoid finding themselves in that situation. So definitely a project we want to support. I'll be up in speaking in Nehalem up there tonight. They've arranged a candidate forum, kind of last minute, but grateful that they're putting that together. So the candidates for office, I'm not sure how many are able to make it. We'll be up there tonight and answering questions for people up in North County. So if you're up in that neck of the woods, it's at 6 p.m. at NCRD. I'm not sure of the room, but if you show up, it might be pretty obvious. So looking forward to discussing issues tonight with constituents there. Met with Manzanita leaders about a week ago on Friday, talking about their water reserves as well as their infrastructure needs. You've got some solid leaders up there that are definitely aware of the burden that we're all about. It's a burden and a blessing, and that is all of our tourists that come to our area to really make such a great impact on our economy, but also we have to have the resources and infrastructure to support them, and those things don't last forever. And so great to see the leaders working together to brainstorm ways to make sure we have the resources in place to replenish the infrastructure needs that we use throughout the district, so that we can continue to make the North Coast a great place to visit. The Habitat Conservation Plan continues to be on people's minds. We are definitely in that phase of the plan now where the plan's been adopted by ODF, and now the federal government is working out the details, and they need to accept that plan before it goes into effect. And then we'll see a bit of a delay in the actual financial impact that we'll have as we work through the backlog of timber sales. Great resource for this is our own Commissioner Scar. She's been in the trenches on this for years, and worked closely with Commissioner Yamamoto on this as well as others. And she's got a wealth of knowledge. So it's been great to talk with her and kind of just brace ourselves and plan for the future of what that's going to look like for Tillamook County as well as Clatsop County. So I think it should give everyone a bit of relief that we've got leaders that are definitely laser focused on this issue. Other issues from the state that people may want to be in the know about. There's a lot of talk about prescription drug affordability. I spent a couple hours yesterday in a roundtable discussion with leaders from across the state as well as doctors and other healthcare professionals talking about the interplay between medicine and corporations. And there's, you look around, you see your Zoom dental cares or Zoom cares and your other urgent care centers that you can pop into. Those are owned by corporations. And then you've got other local groups like we have here in town with the hospitals urgent care that are more locally owned. And so the state is interested in figuring out how do we keep healthcare local and not turn it over to people who live far, far away. This would hopefully help us with issues like we saw with the dialysis center closing, it's a complicated issue, obviously, but what we want to do is make it so that we have local investment that will stay in our counties and in our cities rather than in a state far away. And while that wouldn't have been a perfect solution for what happened with dialysis here in Tillamook County, it will hopefully help make sure we continue to have a robust, vibrant ecosystem of healthcare providers in all different types of areas, especially, and that we don't lose critical access to these providers as a result of corporations coming in and buying up these practices and then taking them in different directions. So that is the discussion the state's having. And then housing continues to be a massive issue. Yesterday, the governor signed into effect a really important housing bill that will dedicate money as well as cutting more red tape towards the housing crisis. I was able to talk with the new chair of the Housing Committee in the House of Representatives, and which I'm a member of, and we have a long discussion about how the coast is really a much different area than other parts of the state, has unique needs with being hemmed in by the ocean and by the mountains, and things like tsunami zones and landslides and wetlands, and how we really need to get the House of Representatives and the Senate up to speed on what those needs are so that we don't treat the coast like the rest of the state. And she was enthusiastic about it and is looking forward to having that discussion. So in May, we'll have a panel where we have leaders from the different parts of the Oregon coast to come in and talk to legislators about what those unique challenges are, and to start kind of priming the pump for what we're going to do next session, which is to really tackle those challenges that the coast faces. So looking forward to that and excited about that discussion. Unemployment delays continue to plague Oregon. So that would be people who have lost their jobs for a variety of reasons and now need to turn to the state for funds to help carry them over while they look for another job. But it's been taking, in some cases, 20 plus weeks for people to get their unemployment checks as they work through the system. And that's due to a variety of factors. They changed over to a new software system at the agency. They're understaffed. And that means long delays. I would say, please contact my office, either through a phone or email. If this is affecting you, let me know what the problem is. If it's been longer, if it's been a long delay now, I'd say more than a couple of weeks, let me know, because I can reach out directly to those agencies and shake them up a little bit and tell them they need to get the application completed and processed and over so that the people, each of you can receive the funds that you're waiting on. And my condolences to the family of Doug Henson, who recently passed away. Senator Weber mentioned that. He was a great member of the community who sacrificed and served for decades in our community. And that is it. I don't think I've got anything else on my list here. So any questions? Happy to answer those before we go.
Thank you, Representative. Any questions for our representative? I don't see any or hear any, so we will move along. Again, thanks both to our senator and state representative. So next up, Tillamook County Health Center, Ed or Marlene, or who is there this morning?
Yes, good morning, Commissioner. It's Ed Colson with the Health Department.
Good morning.
Good morning, and good morning, Tillamook County. For our Health Department update, every year from May 6th to 12th, nurses are recognized for their service and dedication to caring for others and improving the health of patients nationwide through National Nurses Week. So we'd like to take this opportunity now to thank all nurses in Tillamook County for the work that they do and the differences in lives that they've made. And alongside that, we've got a good update for the county here, COVID-19 update. New data that's been released this week from Oregon Health Authority shows the number of adults hospitalized with COVID-19 in Oregon is at its lowest point since June of 2020. dropping about 34% during April, and community transmission is currently low. So while this is welcome news, COVID-19 is still out there and cases are expected to rise again this fall and winter. So it's important to take preventative action such as keeping up to date on your booster vaccines, frequent hand washing, and staying home when ill. So for more information, please visit our Facebook page, Tillamook CHC. Now, a couple of upcoming notices. This month, our Public Health Community Coalition, which is Tillamook County Wellness, launched a new campaign dedicated to increase awareness and education about health literacy. Health literacy means making informed choices about your well-being. From understanding prescriptions to navigating healthcare, it's important knowledge to have. So empower yourself, ask questions, seek clarity, and stay informed. Your health does matter. You can take charge of your health today for a healthier tomorrow. Follow our page, Tillamook County Wellness, on Facebook for weekly tips and tricks, and visit the Be Well page at tillamookcountywellness.org for more details. And with that, that is our health department update. I'll turn it back over to you, Commissioner.
Thank you, Ed. All right, let's go to the Nehalem Bay Health Center and Pharmacy up on the north end. Anyone with us this morning from there?
Yes, good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Gail Nelson here at the Nehalem Bay Health Center and Pharmacy. Thank you, Ed, for recognizing. I'd also like to take a moment to recognize all of the nurses who support us so well throughout the county. And otherwise, our outreach team is planning to participate this Wednesday at the North County Hope Fest at NCRD. It's organized by the Tillamook County Suicide Prevention Coalition. And also, we are also going to kick off our walking group in North County. Today is our first walking, and this will be at 10 o'clock. We will be at the Wheeler Upper Park. So feel free to join us if you're interested in a nice walk this morning. As I see the sun's out over here, so that's great news. And Thursday, we will have our demonstration of the new pharmacy prescription pickup locker in the lobby. If you're interested, please feel free to stop by at noon on Thursday. Otherwise, if you have any questions or if you'd like more information about our services, you can visit us at nehalembayhealth.org or find us on Facebook. And that's it for me this morning, unless there are some questions.
Any questions for Gail? Well, thank you. We'll move along. Our Tillamook Family Counseling Center, I received word Frank Hannah Williams is not available this morning, so we'll skip over that one and go to the sheriff's office. Now, I also understand the sheriff is not available, but perhaps Under Sheriff Kelly or someone else from the sheriff's office. Well, I don't see or hear anyone, so if someone joins, we can go back in that direction, but we'll go ahead and keep moving. So on to emergency management. Randy, are you with us this morning?
Yes, I am, Commissioner, and good morning, Tillamook. To answer the Senator's question, checked with the Weather Service, looks like Tillamook received 2.15 inches of rain over the weekend, so a pretty good amount on that. So, and also it looks like Thursday is going to be the start of our 70+ degree temperatures this week. So looks like we'll go from that rain to some beautiful weather coming up this weekend. So again, but just be safe with if you're going to be out recreating around. Even though it's warm, the water will still be fairly cold. So just be careful on that. The other thing coming up, May is the Wildfire Awareness Month. And Oregon experiences its heavy wildfire activity during the summer months, but fires can occur during any time of the year. So we want to help keep Oregon green and work with our federal, state, tribal, and local fire agencies in spreading the word on how we can prevent the start of careless, unwanted wildfires this summer. And again, our wonderful Smokey Bear is celebrating his 80th birthday this year. Started way back when, 1944. But his message is timeless and as important today as it was back then on helping to prevent wildfires. Smokey's Hat is the driving force behind this year's Keep Oregon Greens Wildland Fire Prevention campaign, which is put your smoky hat on. So everybody grab their little smoky hat and let's go ahead and do what we can to prevent those human-caused wildfires this summer. So with that, I will turn it back to the commissioner.
Thank you, Randy. One of the good things about late rainfall and means there's also some extra snow in the mountains. And what that means is that our water supplies across Oregon generally are maybe average or above average. I haven't seen that number myself, but typically rains that come in April and May are usually followed by a little bit more snow in the mountains, which gets us through the summer and the fall until the rains start again. So that's not all bad, even though most of us would like some sunshine, which is coming. All right, we'll move along. Our first meeting of the month, we ordinarily hear from ODOT, Bill Jablonski. He couldn't make it this morning, but he did send a couple of messages, and I'll just read them for everyone's education. First one, the Joint Committee on Transportation is holding a statewide tour of local sites to discuss the need for stable and sufficient transportation funding in anticipation of the 2025 legislative session. Tillamook County has been identified as a stop scheduled for June 18th of this year. More details to follow. Oregon Highway 6, that's the Wilson River Highway. Engineering designs continue with 5 projects along Oregon 6, including Oregon 6 at the Wilson River Loop Road. Anticipated construction for some of the projects will start in 2025. On US 101, urban upgrades in Garibaldi is pending an award to the successful contractor whose work is expected to start this summer. As soon as ODOT receives a schedule from the contractor, that information will be passed along for county use. ODOT is investing $10 million with a match from the city of Garibaldi. Very excited to see this project for Tillamook County, he reports. Consultant selection for the Tillamook County Transportation System Plan update is still in the works. Community work will take place in 2024. And finally, Bill will be representing ODOT at the conclusion of the NETARTS Community Workshop scheduled for May 16th. So that's the report from Bill Jablonski, who is a regional manager for the Oregon Department of Transportation. So with that, we'll go over to the Board of Commissioners. And as I mentioned, I believe Commissioner Bell is not available this morning, but I think Commissioner Scar is. So Commissioner, you're on.
Excellent. Well, good morning, everyone. I feel like Senator Weber and Representative Javity covered much of the things that were on my list. The Tillamook Working Lands and Waters Collaborative Tour, that is coming up for elected officials at the federal level. Those invitations went out yesterday, and I've already heard back from the governor's office that they are working to prioritize that into either her schedule or someone from her staff. So that's exciting and very hopeful for us. I did very much enjoy my time with the senator and the representative. Last Friday, I think we spent 2 hours solving the problems of the world, as you say, when you get to just have a wide-ranging conversation about things that are impacting our community. And I just want to say, you know, we are so fortunate to have a representative and a senator that actually live right here in our community. They are so well grounded and knowledgeable in the pieces that are impacting us, which make it so much easier to work together to find solutions. So I just want to thank them for the time spent and look forward to another session of solving the problems of the world before we get into the legislative session where maybe we can actually do that. So great strategy session. Just want to I want to give a shout out to Chris Laity, our Public Works Director. I believe that today, or maybe it was yesterday, he was presenting at a conference because of the bridge that we put in 10 days on Miami Foley Road. So I think y'all remember in our one of our storms this last December, that bridge that culvert disappeared, and within a day they started building a bridge, and it was 10 days to build a bridge, and everyone in the state is shocked and amazed and wants to know how we did it. So Chris is a bit of a celebrity right now, presenting on that and just sharing the secrets to living in a disaster-prone county and how you quickly get roads back open when there's been a catastrophic failure. So shout out to Chris for his good work and for his celebrity status that he's experiencing. Couple other quick things, just a reminder to everyone that we have our budget hearing on Wednesday in the afternoon. I believe it goes from 1 until either 4 or 5, probably end of day, as we've got a lot of work to do. And we invite people to join us if they would like. You can join us at the courthouse in room 106, or you can go online and watch the proceedings. But it is the first, I would say, of our real deliberation work. We heard from all of our department heads in our first 2.5 days of hearings, and now it's time for us to dig in. Our treasurer has been hard at work, and I'll give her an opportunity to speak if she would like to. When I just finish my comment here real quick, she's been working hard, department heads have been working hard, and now we come back to the budget committee, which, just as a reminder, is 3 lay people and 3 commissioners who will do this deliberation work. We may ask for more information from department heads. We certainly will be working closely with the treasurer and her staff to really try to figure out how we bring the budget into balance, because as Commissioner Olson always says, we will have a balanced budget at the end of June. So do you have anything you'd like to share, Sean, while we're talking about this?
I do not, Commissioner Scar. I think you covered everything. I encourage the community to join us, either call in, be online, or in person. It is a community that needs to be collaborative, and I feel that we can work together, and we will work through this. I've been noticing around a lot of the state, a lot of deficit budgets are coming up into cities and counties. And it's going to be interesting, but I think as a community, we'll work together and we will pull through as we always do.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Yeah, and I would echo what Treasurer Blanchard shared. I'm talking to other commissioner friends that I have across the state of Oregon, and Tillamook County is not alone in having a more challenging budget year. The inflation that we all have experienced as individuals, counties have also experienced. And so in many areas, as have cities, in many areas across the state, we've hit a critical juncture in time where expenses are outpacing revenues. And part of that is due to the extreme inflation. And part of that is just due to the time that's elapsed between Measure 5 and Measure 50 and where we sit today with our property tax caps, which are wonderful for everyone who owns property to have a restricted and known increase every year. However, for governments and special districts, it has created some challenges after, what are we now, 30 years into that process. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting process, but I agree with the treasurer. We will work together, and we will ensure that we do the best for our community to preserve services and maintain a stable government. Okay, thank you for that. I also
can I add one thing?
Yes, please.
Since the sheriff and undersheriff were on, just a reminder that the SAR banquet is coming up on May 18th, and they have tickets online or at the sheriff's office.
Okay, thank you for that. Yes, and I will be there as a server, as I believe my fellow commissioners will as well. So it should be a fun event. We all look forward to seeing you there. Okay, other couple of things that I wanted to mention. One is just that the county has been working on a strategic plan, and we continue that work. We now have drafts of mission, vision, value statements and are working through what are going to be the focus areas of that plan. So more to be revealed, but by June, we hope to be able to have a draft plan that would be available and viewable by the community. I will share that the community input part of that process was completed previously, probably about a year ago, I believe, by the Futures Council. So we have a lot of information and input that has come from the community that is also helping to inform that plan, along with information from our leadership team. And our next step is it will go out to all of our staff for their input as well. So this is a project that the county has not done recently, and it was time. It's time to come up with a strategic plan. And we are hopeful that with this strategic plan, it's also going to help guide us in our budget conversations into the future as we really look at what is critical and key for the county, both where we are working internally and where will be going as a county overall, what our leadership role is. I think that this plan will help all of us work together toward a future that we can see that we want. So that work is underway, and just kind of a touch point, let y'all know it's still underway. And then the last thing is we had a land use hearing for accessory dwelling units in rural residential areas. We had that I think it was just last week, and we continued it to this week. So we will be looking at actually taking action on the land use changes in the rural residential zone to allow accessory dwelling units. We invite people to join us if you would like. So Wednesday in room 106, we have what's called a 10 a.m. Time certain hearing, which means it will start at 10 a.m. or after, but certainly not before. And that will be for a review of just a few tweaks we wanted to make to that ordinance from what had been brought to us by out of the Planning Commission, and then we will be looking to take action on that. We are excited to look at adding accessory dwelling units in rural residential areas as a way to provide some additional affordable housing options to solve our housing crisis. We know that this alone is not going to solve it, but I believe, and I may have to correct myself on this number, but I believe that Director Absher said that this would provide an opportunity to add certainly upwards of like 1,600 units if every property had one. We don't expect it will be that, but it's a possibility for properties to have them. There are definitely protections in place to ensure that any accessory dwelling unit that is built has to be a long-term rental, not a short-term rental. It has to be on a property that already has a house. It has to be in proximity to that home so that we are not just, filling up our rural residential areas with extra housing, and it's one per lot. So there are some restrictions and protections in place, but it will allow for those who would like to be a part of the solution to do so on their rural residential lot. So we invite you to join us. In addition to that, tomorrow's meeting has a lot of contracts to approve. So if you're interested, please do join us. Again, you can do that in the room, or you can follow us online and just listen either at TCTV online, which is Jane Scott's video feed, which is live, or you can go to our website and go through our new CiviClerk system, which also has a feed that is live. So there's a couple options for you there if you would like to get involved and pay attention to what your commissioners are doing at our meetings on Wednesdays. With that, Commissioner Olson, I will turn it back to you.
Thank you, Commissioner Scar. Lots of information indeed. So I'll just update people on a few items. This afternoon, we have a meeting at the library. I've taken on a project to invite all the utilities, water and wastewater utilities across the county, including the cities. And the reason for the meeting is there's been a number of issues that have come up that have fallen towards the county to help solve these issues. For example, at one utility, the majority of the board resigned. One came back, so they actually have 3 out of 5 now, but there are some issues there. There are other issues about being able to obtain equipment, cash flow issues. If a utility has fewer than 100 or maybe 200 ratepayers, they don't generate enough cash to hire much staff or equipment, or certainly no capital improvements. Then there are questions about water quantity as the water tables are dropping in Tillamook County. So we've invited several people, experts from around the state, to show up today, and all the utilities and cities. And we'll talk about these issues and see if we can find a way forward. So lots more to come on that one. And then speaking of utilities, we discussed at a work session, the commission, about undergrounding utilities, many underground, particularly the electrical ones. And this has become a bit of an issue. Some individuals have said, well, they need to go underground, and they're recalling the fires of a few years ago, including one here in Tillamook County, fairly minor forest fire, relatively speaking. And then also down in Otis, a very, very ugly large fire that took out quite a number of homes. And then, of course, across Oregon and southern Oregon, up the Santiam Canyon. Some of those have had something to do with the way electricity is moved around the surface of Oregon. And so there will be a discussion about that. Now, Commissioner Bell mentioned at a meeting yesterday, she got a call over the weekend that someone was quite concerned that if the county adopted an ordinance, the rates would go up rather drastically. Well, we're at the talking stage, and having been on the PUD board for 15 years, I can tell you that's unlikely to happen anytime soon for a whole variety of reasons, but maybe there's some selective improvements that can be made. And that's what we're going to do, is just talk about it at a work session coming up sometime over the next few weeks. So more to come on that one as well. Another item I'll mention is the Bureau of Ocean Energy Management, which I think is part of the Department of the Interior of the federal government. This is the group that's dealing with offshore wind energy off the American coast, East Coast, Gulf Coast, and then here on the West Coast. And as some of you may know, there's a process underway right now accepting bids on 2 areas off the Oregon coast, one off the deep southern coast, almost at the California border down in Curry County, and another about 50 or 60 miles to the north that would be just south of Reedsport and down towards Coos Bay. So the question has come along, well, are they going to move up north and get off the Tillamook coast one of these days? Well, the answer is nobody knows. But there is a meeting scheduled for May 23rd, which I will attend representing the county. They're going to talk about those things. I can tell you that putting the big windmills in the ocean, in some cases the deep ocean, is an engineering marvel of sorts. Those windmills are roughly twice the size of the ones you see when you fly into Portland from the east, or if you go up the Columbia Gorge just past the Dalles. Those are huge, but these are even larger. So whether they'll get off the Oregon coast in the next few years, nobody knows. But those conversations are starting to occur, and I will represent the county on that, since I've been to quite a number of those hearings over the years as a PUD board member. So more to come on that one as well. And the last thing I'll mention, last weekend, my wife and I attended a play at Nestucca High School, The Wizard of Oz, which is something they put on about every 12 or 15 years at a lot of schools across America. And I guess what I wanted to say, that the Nestucca is a very small school district compared to many. I think it has somewhere between 540 and 560 students. And they put on a play that involved about 60 or 70 kids going clear down to first or second or third grade, the little munchkins, and then the high school kids with all the speaking and singing parts. And how they do that with such a small student body and pull off what is almost a professional play is just beyond me, how they get it done. So I guess my message there is, if you have not seen a high school play across Tillamook County or other high schools that occur all the time, usually one in the fall, another in the spring, boy, you're missing out. These kids are talented. They're well coached and rehearsed, and it's just a marvelous thing to see the community come together like that. So with that, I'll stop talking, and let's go to our cities, starting with Manzanita.
Good morning, Commissioner. Can you hear me okay?
You're coming through just fine. Go right ahead.
Thank you so much. Just a couple of notes, really more about meetings than anything else from Manzanita this morning. We do have our next meeting in our round of budget meetings this evening at 6 p.m. After having a very good long session with our full budget committee and city manager, we're now ready for a session that will include public input or comments. So we're looking forward to that tonight at 6. Our council will be meeting, as it regularly does, tomorrow for our regular council meeting. That will also be at 6 p.m. Councilor Linda Kozlowski and myself do plan to come down to Tillamook this afternoon and attend the meeting that you're chairing this afternoon, Commissioner Olson, at 2. And I want to thank you very much for getting that organized and getting so many resources pulled together so we can learn from each other and just compare notes on what the concerns are around the county. So I want to thank you very much for that. We did get our final good news on our $2.7 million grant from the state that will help improve our water infrastructure here. The governor did sign that. We we were pretty sure that was going to happen, but we got the final confirmation of that last week. So we're pleased with that, and staff here are working hard to be ready to implement that and make a much needed change and improvement to our water structure. Finally, I'd like to thank Commissioner Olson for his ability to paint a picture in words, because I was picturing the Munchkins down in the small school district you mentioned, and it was a great image and a good reminder about the youth that we have in the county and just how energizing it is to be around them. So that's it from Manzanita this morning. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mayor Stock. Good to hear from you, and we will see you this afternoon. So let's go down to Nehalem. Anyone from City of Nehalem this morning? Well, I don't hear anyone, so let's go on down 101 to Wheeler. Anyone from Wheeler? Well, we'll keep moving down 101 and go to Rockaway Beach. Usually we have a mayor or someone from Rockaway.
Good morning, Tillamook County. This is Charles McNeely, the mayor of Rockaway Beach. Can you hear me now?
We can hear you just fine. Go right ahead.
Thank you. All right. I want to thank Commissioner Scar for providing the city of Rockaway Beach with a letter of support for congressionally directed funding that we have requested through Representative Bonamici's office. If awarded, the city would use this funding to do scoping work for our high ground project to relocate critical facilities needed during an emergency, such as our fire hall out of the tsunami inundation zone. This project is highlighted in our latest natural hazard mitigation plan and is a priority project for our community. Commissioner Scar, we really appreciate your support. Thank you. City held its first Source Water Protection Plan Development Advisory Committee meeting on April 29th. It was well attended, and 10 members of the public spoke during the public comment period, expressing support for the city's efforts. The next meeting will be scheduled in June. Our South Pacific Street water main and overlay project began. To date, the contractors have installed approximately 500 feet of water main with roughly 250 feet of pipe remaining to be installed. Once the main line is completed, the contractor will begin installing water services to existing meters before flushing, disinfecting, and testing the new system. Paving will begin shortly after the new water main is tested and operational. Construction is right on schedule and going well. Some good news for Rockaway Beach. The Tillamook PUD and the Oregon Parks and Recreation Department have signed a land use agreement to allow power to be installed at the new wayside bathrooms, which is now complete. The city's engineer and public works superintendent, Dan Emerson, will conduct the final walkthrough of the wayside bathrooms today. If all goes as planned, Superintendent Emerson anticipates opening the restrooms to the public following the conclusion of the walkthrough. If you're driving through Rockaway Beach, stop at the wayside and check out our new ADA compliant state-of-the-art restrooms just in time for the summer season. Our monthly city update with a look back at April is available on the city's Facebook page. We held our first budget meeting. As we all know, it's budget season on March 2nd. Of note, the budget committee added money to purchase and install bike racks after a resident made a well thought out proposal for bike racks in Rockaway Beach during the public hearing. Our next and final meeting is scheduled for May 29th. The city purchased a business license module add-on to our accounting platform. After much work, we will have a better database on the businesses in Rockaway Beach, and this information will be used to better support our business community. Our council workshop is on Wednesday, this Wednesday at 4:30 p.m. in the second floor conference room, followed by the council meeting at 6 p.m. in the council room on the first floor. And then I will be out of the office for 2 weeks, so we'll miss the May 14th and May 21st update calls. I will be back with you on May 28th. Back to you, Commissioner.
Thank you, Mayor. Lots to report in Rockaway Beach. Never a dull moment. All right.
We're rocking.
You certainly are. Garibaldi.
Good morning. This is Leanne Welch, City Manager Pro Tem for Garibaldi.
Good morning, Leanne.
Good morning, Commissioner. We continue to work on the budget and our audits. It's certainly been a challenge here in Garibaldi, but we are making forward progress. We meet today with the Port of Garibaldi to discuss Garibaldi Days and how we're going to continue to work together. And I'm hoping to advertise for a city manager for the city of Garibaldi next week. And really looking for somebody with the leadership and some visionary to help move Garibaldi in a forward position. So that's all I have for Garibaldi. And now, of course, I switch hats and I put on my mayor hat for the city of Bay City. So last night we passed our budget, and as mentioned several times on this call, Measure 5 and Measure 50 makes it difficult for small municipalities to meet these budget needs. But we did pass our budget last night with the Budget Committee. Similar to the city of Rockaway Beach, we filled out the congressional paperwork for under Representative Bonamici, and again, moving Bay City's fire and City Hall outside of our tsunami inundation zone. So hopefully we'll hear back positively for our county. The next City Council meeting for Bay City is Tuesday, May 14th at 6 p.m. And Bay City's campground is open and ready for campers with our new bathroom and shower area. So any questions for Garibaldi or Bay City today?
Get 2 for 1 here, Garibaldi and Bay City. Okay, thank you, Leanne. We'll look forward to your conversation next week. And I hope you have somebody at our utility meeting this afternoon, because I know Bay City supplies water to others beyond the city. So hopefully you'll have someone here. So on to Tillamook. City Manager Nathan George, are you with us this morning?
Good morning, Commissioner. Can you hear me okay?
You're coming through just fine. Go right ahead.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. I wanted to give a quick overview on last night's regular council meeting. We had the request to approve Amendment 6 to Southern Flow Corridor, which is a piece of property, roughly 65 acres, that the city is in the process of acquiring from the county. And that's an extension on the agreement, which was approved last night. Also, council approved a resolution adopting this council's goals for the calendar years 2025 and 2024 and 2025. Council spent about 5.5 hours in early April on a Saturday, working together with department heads to put together goals. And so we're very excited they were adopted last night. That's what we'll be using to help guide us for the next 2 years. Also, a resolution to approve, request to approve resolution updating the city's multi-jurisdictional hazard mitigation plan was also approved last night. And just a couple of things. We had a proclamation that was declared honoring the service and life of Councillor Doug Henson, who passed away peacefully on April 28th of last month. So I just wanted to give a quick overview on that really briefly, but Doug served on city council from 2003 to 2006, and then again from 2011 until his passing. And he was dedicated in many ways. He actually helped start the Tillamook Revitalization Association, the Tillamook Urban Renewal Agency, the annual city tree lighting ceremony, the farmers market. He was instrumental in the skateboard park, the dog park, and also the new Veterans Memorial Plaza, which is going in. So he was really involved, and I really personally enjoyed working with him and appreciate him. Also we announced it again, Public Service Recognition Week is this week, which has been held since the first full week of May annually, and it's been celebrated in the U.S. since 1985. City of Oregon also celebrates this week, as does our city, and I'm hopeful other governmental and public agencies in Tillamook County will join us annually in this celebration. In the police department, Lieutenant Trucks had a good meeting with one of our police department chaplains, Josh Myers. Chaplain Myers is an excellent resource for our team in the police department, and the Chaplain Myers' help during the Every 15 Minutes program this week was invaluable last week. So we want to thank Chaplain Myers for your continued support. The Kylie Burden and Lieutenant Troxel. Kylie Burden's a student, high school senior at Tillamook High, and went to the radio station 95.9 KTIL for the Tillamook Today show to talk about the Every 15 Minutes program. And Kylie Burden, who's doing the student director, did a really great job representing the student body of the Tillamook High School in the Every 15 Minutes program. And for those of you who don't know what Every 15 Minutes is, it's a whole program to help educate and let students and others know about the dangers of driving under the influence and how many people can be killed roughly every 15 minutes in the U.S. So persons killed because of a DUI of some type. Officers were busy with calls for services last week and traffic enforcement. We're wrapping up our extra patrols and traffic enforcement for April because April was a distracted driving awareness month. And our statewide seatbelt campaign will be held at the end of the month, starting on May 20th. Also, along with the Every 15 Minutes program, which was completed last Wednesday and Thursday, we just wanted to thank everyone for their support, all of our public safety partners and businesses in Tillamook. The police department and city extends a heartfelt thank you to all those who are involved. Also, Sergeant Hollis and Sergeant Harrell attended a supervisory training this week put on by our city and county insurance services. I was there, and our assistant city manager and our city planner, and I think it was a few others too. It was a really great training, and we appreciate being able to do that. What a great institution CIS has done for us as our insurance company with training and everything else. Public Works, the water distribution division is in the process of reading water meters throughout this week. Please don't park on or obstruct access to your water meter during this period to ensure an accurate reading. Accurate meter readings are crucial for billing precision and detecting potential water leaks that may not be immediately visible. Please remember that utility payments are due on the 15th of this month. Convenient payment options are available on our website at tillamookor.gov or by calling our main number, which is also on our website. Thank you for your understanding and cooperation in this matter. City of Tillamook is excited to host its annual Touch a Truck and fourth annual Touch a Truck event today from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. This unique family-friendly event will be held in celebration of Public Service Recognition Week, which I touched on earlier. It is a significant part of our community's calendar. It allows children to explore a variety of public service vehicles up close, fostering a sense of curiosity and appreciation for services they provide. We invite you to join us on this event on Laurel Avenue between 1st and 3rd Streets, which will be right between City Hall and the County Courthouse. And please remember, Laurel Avenue will be closed today between 1 and 3rd Street from 2 p.m. until 7 p.m. So, and this isn't just for children, this is for everyone. We have a really great turnout. Every year has been wonderful, from various county departments to state departments to the hospital. Burden's Towing has a contract with the city, so they bring their tow trucks. I mean, we have just a whole plethora of wonderful different public service that are able to come and join us. So we've always had great turnout. And it's always been good weather, so hopefully today will hold out. The street division staff will be sweeping the streets and cleaning out the bioswales downtown. Please be mindful of our staff and equipment. A reminder, everyone is responsible for maintaining their private ladder lines. And if they have any questions about that, please call us. As previously mentioned in this report, sorry, I already said that. We have several positions at City Tillamook available, including our public works technicians, if anyone. And we also have the police chief position will be posted in the near future, and also our project manager/engineer. So we ask everyone to visit our website or stop by City Hall for an application. And just a reminder, if you see something, say something by calling 911 for emergencies or dispatches for non-emergencies. And our next council meeting will be on Monday, May 20th, and we encourage anyone interested to attend virtually or in person. That's all I have, Commissioner. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Nathan. So for South County, I will mention one thing today. There is a chamber meeting at the Kiowanda Community Center, and the topic today will be emergency management. The South County Emergency Management Group will be presenting some information along with Randy Thorpe from here at the county and the bigger picture. So there's a pretty active group now in South County, modeled after what happened in North County over the past years. They have been a leader across Oregon in putting together an emergency management system and group and volunteers. And the South County group is trying to do the same thing with some success. So I believe that's it for today. So we're going to adjourn this meeting, and thanks to KTIL for their broadcasting, and thanks to everyone for listening. The meeting will adjourn at 9:08 a.m. you.